What if, in a single moment, every nuclear power plant on Earth suddenly shut down? No explosions. No meltdowns. No warning. Just silence. Lights stay on at first. Cities keep moving. Most people wouldn't even notice. But beneath the surface, the modern world would already be on a countdown. Today, nuclear power supplies roughly 10% of the world's electricity, and far more in some countries. In places like France, nuclear energy provides over 60% of all power. Nuclear plants don't just produce electricity. They provide stable, constant energy, day and night, regardless of weather. When they disappear, the grid doesn't just lose power. It loses stability. In the first day, nothing dramatic happens. Power grids automatically compensate. Coal plants ramp up. Gas turbines spin faster. Hydroelectric stations push harder. But this emergency response comes at a cost. Fuel reserves drop. Emissions spike. Electricity prices surge almost immediately. The system is surviving, but it's strained. Within days, cracks begin to appear. Countries that relied heavily on nuclear power experience rolling blackouts. Factories slow production. Data centers switch to backup generators. Hospitals remain powered, but only because emergency fuel is being burned at alarming rates. Governments scramble to secure fossil fuels. Coal plants once scheduled for closure are rushed back online. Carbon emissions skyrocket. The world has taken a massive step backward in time. Ironically, shutting down nuclear power, often seen as dangerous, creates a new danger. To replace lost electricity, nations burn more coal, oil, and gas. Air pollution increases. Smog thickens over major cities. Climate targets collapse almost overnight. Within months, global emissions rise higher than they have in decades. The attempt to remove risk has created a much larger one. As months turn into years, the consequences deepen. Electricity becomes more expensive. Energy-intensive industries shrink or relocate. Developing nations struggle the most, forced to choose between power and pollution. Renewable energy expands, but not fast enough. Solar and wind can't fully replace nuclear's constant output. The world enters an unstable energy era, defined by shortages, volatility, and rising temperatures. Here's the paradox. Nuclear power feels dangerous because accidents are dramatic. But statistically, it's one of the safest energy sources ever created. Without nuclear power, more people die from pollution, climate change, and energy insecurity than from nuclear accidents themselves. The real danger was never nuclear energy. It was removing it without a replacement. If every nuclear power plant shut down, humanity wouldn't collapse overnight. But the modern world would slowly unravel. Energy would become dirtier, hotter, more expensive, less reliable. The lesson is simple, but uncomfortable. Our future doesn't depend on avoiding risk. It depends on managing it wisely. So the next time you hear debates about nuclear power, remember this: turning it off isn't the end of danger. It might be the beginning of something far worse.